a gentleman, Steve Fennigan, who is a local radio celebrity. Steve, come on up.
Hey everybody, how's everyone this morning? There's a guy walking around in the crowd that's got a sign that Biden for once told the truth, that he put together the largest fraud in the history of American politics. Where are you, sir? Come on up here and stand next to me for a second. Jan just made some quotes. I'm a retired soldier. I managed to hit all three components of the Army before I retired. Active Guard and Reserve, most of my career in the Reserve, but I'm proud of it. The third stanza of the Army song immortalized what Jan just said about those soldiers in Valley Forge. Men in rags, men who froze, but still that Army met its foes. And that's what we have to do here. We cannot allow this to go on. And ironically, you are looking at a descendant of Patrick Henry, the governor of Virginia, who said, "Give me liberty or give me death." Uncle Patrick, I stand with you. I also wanted to say something, a good friend of mine, I'm just going to say a first name or maybe a title, named Doc, said that he really wished he could be here with you this morning. But he couldn't, and it was beyond our control why he can't. And that's all I'm going to say. Now those of you that might tune into that radio station once in a while, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Ocasio-Cortex.
You hear me call her another outlandish communist, because that's what she is. Sanders is a communist. They're taking over the Democrat Party. John Kennedy talked about a nation being armed and Minutemen. John Kennedy said, the rights of man do not come from government, they come from God. And I don't want to bash all the Democrats, because believe it or not, some of the Democrat poll watchers in Philadelphia and Michigan have given affidavits of the fraud to Sidney Powell. 90%, I was watching Newsmax, I'm like, Jan, I'm done with Fox.
Yep.
90% of Americans want voter ID. We hear the Democrats say that we get called racists because we want voter ID. They're the same Democrats that voted for the Real ID Act. You can't go in that federal building without a real ID. So if it's racist to have an ID to vote, it's racist to go into the federal building. But here's the kicker. We got an African-American gentleman saying, that's right. My whole time in the Army, high school, I've never saw one of my friends that are Asian, Hispanic, or African-American have a problem getting a driver's license or an ID card that's an American citizen. And we cannot allow to be intimidated. And that's what they're trying to do. Amen. The revolution was successful because about 25% of the people at that time were determined. This is a determined group. We have to stand together. It's like, even though I'm a retired soldier, let me borrow some quotes from some of our Navy brothers. There was an admiral or captain named John Paul Jones that said, I've yet begun to fight. And that's how we got to go. And then Admiral David Farragut, when he was moving into Mobile Bay to try to close out the Civil War, said, damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead. The damn boater frog, full speed ahead, folks. Now, I'm going to close because brevity is the soul of wit, and there's a lot of other folks that have spoken, and I don't want to be redundant. But I am so proud to be here. I'm so proud to be an Arkansan. I originally was born in New York City. New York City just elected its first Republican member of Congress. They've had enough up there in Blasio. I grew up in New Jersey. They've had enough of Murphy. My mom, before she passed away in March, after I got divorced, okay, She said, son, are you going to move back up to New Jersey? I said, oh, hell no. And she said, why not? I said, because what I save in property taxes alone living in Arkansas, I can buy first-class tickets every month to come up and see you and Dad. The people have had it. I'm now responsible for my mom's estate, and I won't get into it too much. My parents pay $12,000 a year in property taxes alone up in New Jersey. $1,000 a month. And they want more. We can't allow that to happen. We've got some fine legislators here that are going to stand up. And what Trent said about Georgia, Georgia's our firewall right now. We have got to do everything we can to make sure David Perdue, Kelly Loeffler remain U.S. senators. So I want to thank you all for the opportunity to speak. Thank you for being here. God bless you all.
Thank you, Steve. Closing us out today.